Suunnitella veljeskunnalla ei ole mitään tekemistä suunnitellun vanhemmuuden kanssa. Suunniteltu vanhemmuus on Amerikan suunniteltu vanhemmuusfederaation rekisteröity tavaramerkki.
It must have been, it must have been, it must have been a happy time, time. It must have been, it must have been, it must have been a happy time, time. The sun would shine, the candy bars, Kool-Aid flowing like wine, the comic books, the TV shows, the bubble gum, the kitty cat.
Oh, do we start? Okay. Hey, guys, it's Brian. Thanks for opening the mailbag. Hey, I've got a question for both Nick and PJ. When did you come up with the current theme music? Assuming it's still current. I'm talking about the Daniel Johnson song. I know you guys don't post your episodes until like 3 years after the fact. At which point, one of you may be dead. Just the fat one, though. I'm not saying any names. Rhymes with Ski J. Anyway, but seriously, who came up with the song? Were there any others in the running? Was there a discussion, an argument, a bitter feud? Was there any knife play involved, I guess is what I'm asking. And, yeah, I just thought this would be a cool new feature on the show and maybe prove that one or possibly even both of you give a shit about the listener. Well, thanks, guys. See you next time.
Good question, Brian.
I already told him because he occasionally Facebook IMs me.
First, let's talk about how this weird relationship you have with this guy, Brian.
Pretty sure we've touched on this before, but
he's not my Facebook friend.
I thought you were going to say he's not your favorite.
I didn't even know he was on Facebook. But you told me off mic a long time ago that...
Hey, that stays off mic.
You never text him back. He'll send you text messages. You never text him back.
What am I supposed to do?
You never talk to him on the phone. But you guys have kept in contact since you were...
Well, he's really funny. He's really funny.
There are AOL people who I remember fondly, but like I would have...
You remember fondly, meaning you were fondling yourself?
You know, like I remember...
Banana Mash?
I remember Banana Mash, and this guy, Teacher Roy, was my buddy. Remember Teacher Roy?
Yeah, he was your AOL buddy. That's all Brian is to me.
Yeah, but I didn't keep in contact for this long. And if I had, I definitely would have sent a text message or probably have met the person by then.
It is crazy.
He goes to Disneyland all the time, doesn't he?
Yeah, he's obsessed with Disneyland, I think.
I really want to go to Disneyland with Sophie. I think
she's the perfect age right now.
3 years old, good time. You can come with us, and we should meet up with the guy.
If I come with you, are you inviting me or are you asking me to babysit?
There might be one night that we ask you to watch the baby while we go out in California. But for the most part, like we just go to the park because I don't like to go on rides like at the Puyallup Fair or definitely not the Yakima Fair.
We'll get to your question in a minute, Brian. Shut the fuck up.
Yeah. They're small, they're rinky-dink, but when I go to Disneyland or when I remember having gone to like a Great America or something like that, those rides that are in place all year round and they're fun, I want to go on those rides. Alvina will never, ever go on a ride. She's terrified of anything resembling a ride.
What about the simulated? They've revamped Star Tours.
Yeah, I want to go to there.
Yeah, you're just sitting in a seat. You can tell her that.
Yeah. Like she might do that. And then there's the little rides I'll take Sophie on. But I've got no one to go on real rides.
Don't go on Mr. Toad's Wild Ride. I hear you end up in hell.
I've never been on that, but I wouldn't be surprised. Pirates of the Caribbean before they changed it. But I don't have anyone to go on rides with when I go. Like I wouldn't be able to go on one because I'm not going to be the single rider who they match up with another single rider.
Space Mountain Solo? Are you kidding me? Your mind will be blown.
Hopefully I sit next to a lady that's going to like titty flash. And I can see myself.
That's Flash Mountain.
Flash
Space Mountain, it wouldn't make sense to flash because it's all in the dark.
Space Mountain was badass from what I remember. But yeah, I mean, would you go with us?
I was 16. You would have been 14. Yes, I'll go with you.
Yeah, let's.
One condition, mouse ears?
Sure.
Okay. Deal.
Yeah, I mean, of course. But yeah, we really want to go. It's our next vacation. I don't know if we're going to drive. It would be fun if we all drove.
Would
Probably
it?
Not so fun.
Would it?
We just got back from San Francisco. Sophie's an excellent traveler.
Why don't you get off of San Francisco? Only because I just got off of yours.
She never had to stop to use the bathroom at all. I mean, we stopped, like when me or Alvina had to go.
But she wasn't complaining about having to pee the whole time.
Right. We never had to make a stop, especially
Maybe that's
for
because
her.
she's so afraid of you. Like you've already ingrained such fear in
No,
her.
Not it. That's not it.
You want to go back to Brian's question?
Yeah, sure.
Something about a song? I'd heard it. You're right. I do tend to ignore him, but not because I don't think he's fascinating and adorable. I most recently he sends me texts, and I will text him back. It's just I can't handle a phone call, and we developed our relationship.
Does he ever try to call?
I'm about to get to that. Okay. I first want to give a little background. We met in a Simpsons trivia chat room, and we're way superior to everybody else in the room. So I think we were just, basically flashing our cocks around in the Simpsons trivia room and decided that we could make each other laugh.
And you're at what age?
16, so 96.
Like literally, you were 16.
When we got the internet is when I met Brian online. And I've never had an actual phone conversation with him. We'll lose contact for years. Like between MySpace and Facebook, I didn't hear from him for a really long time. He's good on Twitter. I think he's God's Black Friend on Twitter. I recommend people follow him, if he's still even updating that. But I'm intimidated by him.
He's one of the guys on iTunes that didn't give us a 5-star review.
He was the first to ever leave us a review, first of all.
And it wasn't 5 stars.
It was 4 stars. We don't have anything below 4 stars.
Plus, we were terrible back then.
He did mention our dead air beer breaks, like within the first sentence of his review.
Yeah.
But it really opened my eyes. Thank you, Brian. I hope you don't mind that we're saying your name.
We'll see you at Disneyland.
He should come. But he'd never called me. It's always been text or Facebook or Twitter or whatever. He gets a good, genuine chuckle out of me most of the time, though. And so we'll occasionally text back and forth. But not that long ago, he left me a voicemail. I saw that it was him calling, and I was like, no, thank you. I could not handle this. Usually my excuse is I'm not high enough or I'm not drunk enough. In this case, I was too much of both. So I was like, no way. But he left me a voicemail.
Doesn't the weirdest shit like that always happen when you're super drunk?
Yeah.
Like the most random fucking person on earth will call you. And that wouldn't happen if you were like at home watching the Jersey Shore. Like Brian's not going to all of a sudden call you after 14 years.
But he did. And he invited me and I think you. What are you doing on New Year's? Because he wants us to go to Vegas with his friend who's turning 21. First of all, why are you hanging out with losers? If you can't hang out with this guy at a bar, you shouldn't hang out with him at all. But I thought that was the weirdest request, and I guess I'm addressing it on mic. This was like 3 weeks ago, and who knows when this will post.
Oh, that was 3 weeks ago?
Yeah.
Oh, we should have gone.
It's New Year's. It hasn't happened yet.
Oh, we should go. We should go. I've never been to Vegas yet.
I know that would be exciting, kind of. I guess we're tentatively committing.
Let's
tentatively committing on Mike.
Let's not meet up with him or his 21-year-old friend. Though.
Yeah, I'm blowing him up, but Vegas would be fun.
Yeah.
Let's just get. I told him one of our most recent texts. I felt bad because we've been sitting on this voicemail for so long, and I didn't even know we had it for a long time. And so I wanted to make it up to him, let him know we were going to address it. So I was like, don't worry, your boring question will be answered soon. So let's do that. Daniel Johnston, Happy Time, our opening theme song. I guess that came from me, right?
Yeah.
But you heard it, and I think it just suits the show well.
Yeah.
As we said on another podcast recently, I hope Daniel Johnston's lawyers aren't listening. Is that enough of an answer?
It's still not quite has what I'm looking for. Like some podcasts just have such a good theme song.
Give an example. Drop a name.
Never Not Funny. Like it just gets me pumped every time.
I don't know. It's a little testosterone.
Speaking of Daniel Johnson and us talking about this theme song, Air Raid. I like the Air Raid bed of music that we talked about earlier today. By the way, guys, we were just on Air Raid podcast.
We'll get there. We're going in order here. This is the feedback segment, guys.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
if you've ever written us an email or left us a voicemail, we're about to talk about you.
Yeah. It's still not quite exactly it. You know what I mean? And I don't know anything about music. I've said that ad nauseum, but I know it gets me pumped. I know it when I hear it, and we're not quite there yet. Ed's got a new.
We're getting
theme
closer,
song.
though, right?
Ed's got a new theme song that, like, you and I both really liked the voicemail. We get that recorded. God, if anyone wants to send anything in, though, or just an idea, like, oh, hey, this song by the Poop Monsters is really good.
General feedback, not even about the song. Like, stop talking about your mom so much.
Yeah.
We'll
okay.
take that into consideration.
there you go.
Not really, though.
Yeah. brotherofallpodcast.com.
That we don't own that.
brotherofallpodcast@gmail.com is
There
what I
you
meant
go.
to say.
There you go.
I forgot the @gmail in my sandwich.
What do we got next? I
love Brian.
We're done with Brian. I just got off Brian, and you should get off yours. I hated how much you said that in one of our most recent episodes, and I can't stop now. In everyday life, I keep doing it. Let's dig further into the mailbag, and by that I mean I'm paraphrasing a Facebook message from our listener Kelsey. She lives in Kansas. She condemned me for smoking too much. She also asked how things were going with my potential Argentinian girlfriend.
Oh yeah.
Turns out fine. I'm doing okay.
Yeah.
Thanks for asking, Kelsey.
She might hang out with us tonight.
I haven't asked her yet,
Nick
and
sends
she's
her a text.
really, really afraid to meet you. Like super afraid to meet
That's
you.
interesting.
It's not interesting. She has every right. She listens to the show.
Yeah, and she sounds terrible. She sounds like she knows that, like, obviously people don't like me.
Fair enough. Yeah.
This
for
is
her to
just show
assume it.
talk, though. How nice will I be if she comes out tonight?
I don't know. You really want to meet her, which I'm surprised by.
Yeah.
Usually you have a little to no interest in potential girlfriends of mine.
Yeah, I was still coming off, like, the high of whatever we were doing before that. Cocaine.
Is it obvious? I've been sniffing a lot, huh? What else we got? Thank you, Kelsey. Buncocky.
Yeah.
I don't know how much we've talked about this show before. They are based out of New York.
We talk about it a lot, but I don't know how much on
we enjoy this. It's a podcast.
yeah.
I've been listening to them for quite a while now. You made a point when we were talking about it earlier. We probably wouldn't have known their show except for they said they liked ours. But
Yeah.
I'm curious. Like, I think he sent us a general mention. Like, he sent an email saying, "Hey, I like your show, and I might mention it on my show." So of course I'm going to tune in.
Right.
Especially how long ago this was.
That's
This
right,
was
they
over
do.
a year ago.
Yeah.
Any feedback we got was good feedback. But then I started listening, and they're a really, really funny show.
Yeah.
Who do you like more, Mike or Jay?
You can't ask that.
I feel like I did.
Let's see. I think God. I don't want to sound too like fanny-ish, and by that I mean fan-ish. I don't know. I mean, I think Jay's obviously hilarious, but Mike reminds me of me, so I really like him. That guy Jay is a lot like people who I know who just use words sometimes that are hilarious. Like any sort of more than two-syllable word will crack me up for most of the time.
What about amicable? How do you feel about that?
Yeah, if he says amicable, it makes me laugh. But yeah, they're both good guys. Can we cut all that part out where I just awkwardly described both of them? No, I mean it's a really good show. It's two guys. One of them's married for a long time. They've been friends for a long time, and it's really funny. They have a lot of funny stories about things they remember.
I feel about those guys like I'm really flattered that at least Mike I know was the one that said he'd started listening to our show. And we show up in each other's iTunes feeds, listeners should also subscribe to. But in this case, you really should subscribe to Buncocky.
But no, I mean I'll say far and away Buncocky's like the first and they didn't approach us like oh hey, let's promote each other or anything like that.
No, they seem to like us. Yeah. And want to promote us. And most recently, I guess this is what I'm getting at. If you're unfamiliar with their show, check it out in general. But I want to say they devoted an episode to us, but that's a little strong. But we inspired.
That's what I want to say. Yeah.
We inspired episode 54 of their show, which means they just took our format for an episode and told childhood stories. Yeah. And I really enjoyed the shit out of it, as I do all of their shows.
And this is totally a compliment.
Jay's funnier, right?
This is a compliment to you and I, Nick, but it was my favorite episode of this because they were taking a page from us. No, I mean, those childhood stories are great. And like I say, much how, we're dynamic because we're brothers, they're friends for a long time. And they know a hilarious guy called Jujay who I've emailed them asking, please send me a Jujay episode, but...
They sent me a
got it.
picture when I asked for it.
Really?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, I never got
He
a
looks
picture.
too much like our cousin Tim, which is how I
Really?
imagine him anyway.
Yeah, that's how I imagine him from the stories. He's just like Tim. Yeah.
Do another Jujig episode, guys. We're really waiting for that one. Sequel, please.
And release the ones that he was a guest
I don't
on.
usually demand sequels of anything, but in that case, I want one.
Yeah.
Moving right on down the
And
line.
also, Mike does a show called Kissing Contest. It's
Kissing
really good.
Contest is really good.
And
that Sawyer is a funny motherfucker.
yeah. I was going to send an email suggesting this, but I thought it'd be too pompous, so I'll do it now really pompously. When you're wondering whether or not James Cameron directed True Lies, give me a call. My phone number is 509
Or keep IMDb on the ready.
930 5789.
You know you regret that.
No, just text me. Anybody can text me with pop culture related. Just if you don't feel like looking it up on Google, I usually know the answer. Yes, James Cameron directed True Lies.
I should make it clear, you've never even given me your phone number.
God, fuck. Now mom's going to listen to this.
She really is. She really is.
930-5789.
I can't believe you keep
Area
doing
code
it.
509.
love it.
I like it when you ask me what's the last name of the guy who played Hyde on that 70s show. I'm proud of myself for knowing that it's Masterson, you know?
I'm a little disappointed in you, but you're obviously my go-to. I don't have a smartphone. Otherwise, I'd cut you out altogether.
Yeah.
The logo, we've been using it the last 3 or 4. You're probably staring at it at your iPod right now. I'm embarrassed to say I probably don't know how to pronounce this person's name. Sofal?
I guess Sopel.
Sopel. That's better. Anyway, thanks for the logo. Sam's is coming up, which we mentioned, I think, on our last episode.
Yeah.
But it was a nice in-between, and we encourage all fans to send in PJ and Nick-inspired artwork of any kind.
He also sent a picture of it looked like a guy with his legs spread and his cock
I saw that
hanging
one.
out.
If you're not a Facebook fan already, become one
reason
just
to
to look
go
at this
on.
picture. Yeah.
Yeah. Now I always try to make my wife laugh with the computer desktop background image. I always put a picture of like someone we worked at the Outback Steakhouse together with
Or in
10
one
years
case, our
ago.
cousin Tim, hugely blown up. Our cousin Tim was on your
Yeah,
desktop.
just always a picture like that. And I put that one.
Get a picture of Jujay. That'll be funny too.
I put a picture of that, which was what Sopel left on our page, where it looks like a cock, but if you look closer, it's something else.
It's a dog doing what?
I think it's
Playing poker, right?
I think it's a few pigs feeding.
Oh, okay.
That's just the way they're set up.
It's like a.
I wasn't gonna ruin the surprise. but-
My bad. My
yeah,
bad.
thanks for that, Sopel. Sopel comes out of nowhere and likes the show and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
he
Thanks,
sent-
buddy.
He sent us an email, and I won't get into the email because it's really personal.
And I just got off here.
But he subjected the email "sappy email warning." He really loves us, and we love you too. Last but certainly not least, we'd have to put Sopel.
Certainly.
We'd have to put Sopel as least, because he's the newest. He's the newest, or she, Sopel. Let us know, please. Let's talk about this podcast air raid a little bit.
Yeah. Also, someone sent us like a sticker or something that said J-Dub.
Oh yeah, let's.
Yeah. We're not sure who that was.
No,
some
it's
email address.
Amanda. Thank you, Amanda. We won't
Oh,
give her last name
okay.
because I'm sure I don't know it. But yeah, you recently mentioned on the show that somebody at work was trying to make P-Dub work as your nickname. As if you don't have enough nicknames. P-Day in itself. Come on.
Yeah.
Isn't that enough?
Yeah.
But what was it? J-Dub?
J-Dub.
Which means more than one thing. So thank you so much for that. We're going to put that in the photo album too. Okay, now Air Raid. Air Raid. This was your bright idea.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm
proud to say.
Our friend Jeremy, I think he was last on episode Kite Story. What was Kite Story? I'm going to say 111.
Okay.
Jeremy's a friend. And he had mentioned having been on another podcast to promote his film racing thing. And so you had checked it out before I got a chance to. And then I guess Aaron, who's the host of the show, he advertises on his podcast webpage, like, if you have something you want to promote, if you want to come on, let us know. And you listened to the Jeremy episode and decided it might be a good move for us, right?
Yeah.
Because he's local, at least.
And I listened to
terms
it
of
like
me.
the day before we recorded that episode, Kite Story, with Jeremy.
Uh-huh.
Well, I mean, yeah, I listened to it the day before Jeremy, the day before we saw Jeremy. And I told Jeremy, hey, I'm thinking about emailing this guy. I like his show. I like.
And they went to college together, I found out today.
We found out today. Yeah. And he said, and we never been on another podcast ever. Those other podcasts we talked about, they've been on each other's shows a lot
via
because
Skype
of
though, and
Skype,
and
it's just something that you and I are we're so not techie that we don't even want.
I think even if I was, Skype kind of takes away from a conversation a little bit.
I think so.
Because even us living as far away as we do from each other,
we've never
we've had the Skype conversation, but we've ruled it out.
right. We've talked about
There's
it.
something about this personal connection, being able to not exactly look you in the eyes, really does it for me. But so you got in contact with Aaron, the host of Air Raid, who hosts the show by himself. He doesn't have a co-host, so it's guest centric. And we were on I don't know when it's gonna drop.
I think it was episode 17.
Episode 17. So look out for that. We had a lot of fun. It was a little uncomfortable never having met the guy. Like it's strictly being internet.
That was the weirdest thing, yeah. And it was.
I told you before we approached the place, like the weirdest thing is gonna be meeting him, and then I'm sure it'll be fun.
Yeah, and that was the thing too. Is like I was real confident about it, and then leading up to it, I was getting more nervous about it.
I was anti this at the beginning.
Yeah,
I will say,
and I was like, I really twisted Nick's arm into this. I feel like if it goes wrong, it's all on me. But how wrong can it go? The worst part was parallel parking outside of his house. And I said, I'll kill myself if he's looking out his window watching me.
And it's one of the first things he brings up on this upcoming episode of Air Raid.
Watching me try to... I think
if for nothing else, listen to this episode of Air Raid for the parallel parking thing.
And, constantly calling him out for taking up 2 parking spots of his neighbors, too. And, but yeah, I mean, the guy couldn't be more amicable or amiable, whichever word suffices there.
I think we already established amicable is a good... I can't say it.
Very gracious. They had a beer in our hand immediately.
We went up to his door, not knowing this guy, never having met him. Not only are we going to hang out with him, but we're going to record a show that's then going to be released on the internet. And so I'm pretty nervous. We hit up a bar, of course, right beforehand, and we knocked on the door twice, and he wasn't coming to the door. And so instantly I started thinking, the end of Catfish, that most recent sensation. Like, what's the deal with this guy? If he does let us in, is he going to be a lady tending for 2 retarded kids, pretending to be a guy named Aaron? But then he comes around the side of the house. And
he might have been knocking on the wrong door.
It's quite possible.
Yeah.
And I like that your first words to him, never having met him before, is he startled us, and you turned right around and said, Jesus Christ. And then he had 2 beers already before we got inside that he had handed us. Yeah. So I knew this guy was okay. He asked to bum a cigarette, and I'm fine with that. Thanks for letting us hang out at your awesome house.
Yeah.
First of all, if he ever comes here to record, which I hope he does, my house is nothing in comparison to yours, Aaron. But I had a really good time. Yeah. As nervous as we were leading up to it, we may have hijacked the show. I hope that's not the case.
Yeah.
I hope he enjoyed himself because he constantly reassured us that he did.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, I was nervous beforehand. Not that big a deal, but I'll make a big deal out of anything.
Yeah.
Especially when I smoke pot, which we did. And, but no, couldn't have been funner. He couldn't have been more gracious, and it was great, and hilariousness ensued. And we changed the format, as far as I know. As far as the other episodes I've listened, he couldn't have kept us on that format. I didn't take us for such talkers.
I don't deal well with structure.
I've always been told we interrupt each other, but I'm like, we're gonna be on this other guy's show. We're gonna do exactly what I've been hearing, listening, and getting ready to be on it. And it just turned into
a big fuckfest. And I think it's not your fault because I haven't heard it. It's not. I don't own this show. If he decides to post it, he will, and I hope it's an entertaining enough episode.
No. I think
no. I was getting to something. Hold on, really quick. Like we were asking him like pre-show questions. I wasn't as familiar as you with his show, and so I wanted to make sure. Like, okay, so I know that you like have a proper introduction, which is already way better off than we do. Yeah. But more than that, I asked him specifically. I was like, so do you have a few minutes where you ramp up the show and then you introduce us and that's when we talk? And he was like, yeah, that's generally how it goes. It's like, I think he told us like 3.5 minutes and then he'll introduce us. So we just have to sit quietly the whole time. But no, PJ, you didn't allow that to happen. You laughed right away at because he played a sound clip from Step Brothers. Wasn't that it?
It's a great movie.
And you laugh, and then like 10 seconds into him actually introducing the show, you start laughing, and then lean into the mic to ask, is it cool if I laugh? I don't have to talk, but can I laugh? And then from that point on, we had taken over the show. It's so selfish.
But we didn't take he gave it over to that format.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he told us beforehand, he's like, yeah, sometimes I do things to kind of move it along. I don't think that'll be a problem.
Sound drops, whatnot.
Yeah, we'd been talking outside, and obviously, I mean, I think before he ever hit record, just in that 5 minutes outside with
He
him,
knew what he was in for?
he knew that one question will turn into like 20 different opinions on 20 different subjects.
Check that show out, though. I hope he's listening because I want that guy to be my friend. Based on this one-time meeting, I can honestly say that.
Yeah.
Are we done with plugs?
It's quid pro quo. He'll be on our show soon.
Yes, I hope so.
Unless he doesn't release that episode we did.
What if he didn't? I think that's it for feedback.
Yeah.
2 questions. I'll start with the second one first. When's the last time you cried?
Man, I couldn't tell you. Not long ago.
Movie inspired, right? That was the other question.
Yeah. Movie or television, it happens all the time.
You just well up when you're watching the most recent episode of Parenthood.
Anything can get me. Anything. They've all been known to get me.
We've talked about this before, but let's give a few classic examples of what made us cry as kids or leading up to today.
Papouli dying on Full House.
Of course. Thomas J. dying by bee attack.
Sure. Oh, yeah. Big time.
Big time.
Rudy. Several scenes in Rudy.
See,
especially
sports movies don't work for me.
But come on, when his dad is saying, that's my son, and then Jon Favreau points at him and it goes, who's the wild man now?
No, I am not crying, as you can see.
I almost am.
There's a line in Royal Tenenbaums that I really like. Gene Hackman says it to Ben Stiller. I don't remember it, but look it up. That should be enough information, right?
I think Squid and the Whale made me cry.
Oh, no doubt, yeah.
Speaking of bound back.
No doubt makes me cry. Just a girl. To be a girl, that would suck. I'm asking because it doesn't have to be a movie, as it turns out. Although I consider the trailer for The Social Network a little movie unto itself. I really do. And for anybody, first of all, we'll talk about the movie in a minute because we've both seen it. But before I saw
we both seen it. I seen it.
You gonna continue to mock?
No, I seen it.
Yeah, I seen it. I mean, I knew David Fincher was involved, so I knew I would be curious, and that it wouldn't be the Facebook movie that everybody's,
Sure. Yeah, absolutely.
But
such as Zodiac.
Yeah, Zodiac was an excellent film, and his last, right? No, I guess Benjamin Button came and ruined that.
Oh yeah, I guess that was in between. Yeah,
okay. That's his only misstep. I haven't seen Alien 3, but
I like Benjamin, but I've seen it once. But
I saw it once too, and I could not have been more bored.
I seen it once, and I liked it.
Sure, the effects were dazzling, but I'm over that after a little while.
I also watched it on.
It reminded me too much of Forrest Gump in structure and my boredom. It really does. Oh, he happened to be here for all these monumental moments, and I'm also shrinking.
Yeah.
From the inside out. Not a fan. I am a fan of The Social Network, but more the trailer. I remember watching it online on my shitty computer that was buffering halfway through and really being moved to the point of tears. And then I went and saw, I think it was the Joan Rivers documentary. When I went and saw that, the trailer came up on the big screen, and then I cried 10 times as hard.
Really?
Yeah, it's the song, though. It's the...
Does that song mean something to you in like another?
It didn't until this trailer. I mean, I've always liked.
I've been affected like Sweet Caroline and Beautiful Girls. Kills me.
Sure, good example.
That's a true story. I used to watch that movie when I was in California, trying to live there, and it was a dark time in my life. And that movie will always bring a tear to my eye because of that.
Your pillow was a pile of vomit.
Yeah, that's true.
No, the song in this Social Network trailer, and we'll post it on our Facebook if you know how. It's Creep. It's the name of the song is Creep. You've been singing it wrong all day.
I'm popular. I'm a teacher's pet.
No, it's this girls' choir covering TLC's version of Creep. It's really fucking weird. You don't understand my musical jokes. I'm a creep.
I thought you were preaching right there. I thought that was the truth.
No, but it's God. I can't describe.
I'm gonna guess it's the Pixies.
Who? What?
Is that right? Who made that song "Creep"?
No, it's Radiohead.
Oh, okay.
Radiohead. But this girls' choir covers it, and the opening montage of the trailer that everybody's probably seen, all the nerds that listen to our show, it starts with just like things you do on Facebook. Add me as a friend, blah, blah, blah. But set to this music, I wanted to cry before they even showed any actual footage that, the movie consisted of. Really?
What?
No other examples of crying as an adult?
Let's see. I mean, like I say, just a lot of things get me. A lot of episodes of TV shows. I've cried at 6 Feet Under, definitely. Probably even Oz. I was really into that show. I only really get into a show like I'm sort of nerdily into Lost, but like there's shows like 6 Feet Under and The Wire, and there's things that get me going.
Stuttering Stanley.
And when I get into a show, like I find something to relate with. And I really get into it. And, yeah, things will make me cry. Black Donnelly's made me cry. I'm serious. I swear to God. I cry at everything. The Black Donnellys starring Jonathan Tucker.
Yeah, why do you let Paul Haggis fuck you that way?
Remember, I started a fan letter to Paul Haggis because I liked that show so
That's
much.
right.
And all I wrote was the first 2 lines. And it was, "Dear Mr. Haggis, I am a big fan of the Black Donnellys." That's all I could write.
You may as well have said, I am a big fan of Not Crash. It's saying the same thing.
But yeah, I feel that show got a raw deal. It was pretty good.
I guess I never saw it. I think I tried, and the editing was too jazzy within the first 10 minutes.
Best first episode of any show
Wrong.
I've ever seen. I'm serious. It was so good. The rest of the
It
season
must
was
have really picked up at
disappointment.
that 11th minute then.
I'm just saying that, like, it was really good. And yeah, it was the last few minutes of it. Let's get off the Black Donnellys. I just got off yours. What have you cried? I mean, there's the trailer, but I mean, and My Girl, of course.
I cried at... Hold on. Debating whether or not to say this on mic.
Yeah, say it.
I cried at Toy Story 3, and I know... See? I knew you would give me that look.
That's okay. I mean, I haven't seen it, so I don't know. Maybe I would cry on
No,
it.
you wouldn't. You object to animation right off the bat.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's true.
That's why I'm going to move on from this quickly.
Yeah,
I really
okay.
did cry at Toy Story 3 in the theater and saw it by myself at midnight. I may have mentioned that before, so that makes the scene all that much more pathetic. It doesn't really matter. If I see other people crying, like Sally's really gotten to me. I'm talking about Sally Draper here lately because she's so fucked up.
Yeah, she's pretty cool, though.
Yeah. For anybody that doesn't know what we're talking about, Sally Draper is one of my good friends. She's going to be on the show soon.
She's like 70.
Let's just give a quick... I want your quick review on The Social Network.
I really liked it. I thought it was...
Because I think for the first time in a month, this is going to actually be current.
Yeah. I liked it. I thought it really got me roped in. It really made me anxious about if I felt I was getting screwed out of millions of dollars.
Billions in this case.
It it killed me. The Winklevoss twins were great in it. Because it's the brothers talking about if they're going to sue him or not. And he goes, I don't want to say why I don't want to sue. He'll laugh at me. He'll just think it's stupid. It's
Talking about his own twin.
Yeah. And
who's
he
in his
goes-
head anyway.
And he goes, because we're gentlemen of Harvard. We're gentlemen. We don't sue each other. Man, it was so... I loved it. And then
Riveting. That movie was
and
riveting.
Then this is a big spoiler, but I mean, no, it's small. When their dad came in, did you not think their dad was going to be the biggest asshole on earth? And he was the nicest guy on
Oh,
earth.
yeah.
When their dad
Nice
showed,
twist.
don't ever apologize to me. Don't ever apologize to anyone. Like, so good. Like,
Yeah.
really good movie. Just one of those movies that really knocks my socks off.
What if you're not that fond of Eisenberg's performance, or are you? Because we were talking about how... Is it one of those cases where he does such a good job being an asshole that you dislike his character?
Yeah.
But I think that speaks to him as an actor.
Yeah, and I can't say that his character is such a villain. It's just like, it was just like the way I took his character whatever mood I was in that day. Like I was like I recognize he's doing a great job, and you know it's only the first time I see it, the first of what'll be several times.
Yeah, he sold it from that opening scene
Yeah.
though. Like
Yeah.
he was an asshole, but he was acerbic.
I could always relate to Jesse Eisenberg in every other role he's ever. This is the first one where I couldn't relate to him because
you don't have $1 billion.
Yeah, I'm not that smart. I would never be able to do what.
Do you know what algorithm means?
No, I don't. And
they say that like 8 times in the movie.
I would never be able to do what he does in that movie. And if I did do it, I don't think I would act the way at least the character in the movie does, the way he acted in that movie. Like it's the Jada Pinkett Smith in Return to Paradise and Lisa Kudrow in the opposite of sex, just to where like. But it's not the same because I hate those two actresses because of the roles they played in those movies. Plus, they're terrible. But those roles like really solidified it. Jesse Eisenberg, I still.
Phoebe's not your favorite friend?
I was very uncomfortable. I felt uncomfortable, if I was Mark Zuckerberg, as played by Jesse Eisenberg. He did a good job, and it was good. The Winklevoss twins were the greatest, I thought.
Yeah,
and Andrew Garfield, my new boyfriend.
That's what you said to me. You saw it a day before I did. You texted me because I asked you how it was. Because I've been really jazzed to see it, but I couldn't see it until Saturday. And you said that it was... And explain this. You said it was really good, which I was relieved to hear. Because I generally trust your opinion on movies. MacGruber was hilarious. Thank you for that. But you had said that it was good, or you said it was really frustrating, but in a good way.
Right, and that's what I mean about, like, it was frustrating in the sense to where, like...
What if I was Eduardo?
Yeah, exactly. Like, Eduardo, but mostly the Winklevosses and that other guy, like, at least
they deserved it
the
less
movie.
than the than Eduardo.
Oh,
did.
yeah, Eduardo deserves everything. But I'm just saying, just not even if they were really screwed over, just that they thought they were... And just every time they see, like, how much money this guy's about to make, like, how frustrating would that be? Whether or not, as an outsider, you think that they really did deserve a piece of it or not, like, you know that they thought they deserved a piece of it and how frustrating it was for them to just see him exploding, and what are we going to do? They're gentlemen of Harvard. But then again, they did come from a really rich family. But, you know, the title cards at the end said they got, like, well, I don't want to spoil anything, but they got some money.
I don't think you can spoil The Social Network.
Yeah, Wikipedia spoiled The Social Network like 5 years ago.
Facebook still exists.
Because we're gentlemen of Harvard. It's so good. Did you cry during that movie?
No, I didn't. I cried during the trailer, not the movie. And I think that's why because that Girls Choir version of Creep was not in the actual... I didn't sit through the end credits, so it could have played. But no, I think it was just the song and the quick editing of the trailer. Yeah. But God, that movie's funnier than I thought it would be, too. Did I already say that?
I don't know, but it was really funny.
Oh, man, there were some great... we'll stop now. Everybody check it out, though. It's not
Hold
that
on.
movie about Facebook.
I just want to check your math here. Okay, go on.
We'll leave that for them to see. I really thought crying as an adult would lead to more.
I mean, what's the last personal experience you cried at?
Ooh, do I want to talk about this?
Mom leave you a text and you cried?
Never. I'm not going to say never. Never has she... I don't think I've received a single text. I haven't cried over text since text started happening as a thing.
Really?
I don't think so. I did get so angry at a girlfriend that I broke my phone, but I think I've said that before. Like, chucking it across... I'm not that guy. Like, I've never...
I am. Unfortunately, I like to... Privately, though. Like, not to make a big scene.
Yeah, but privately or no, if you invite friends over 2 weeks after, your meltdown and there's holes in the wall...
Well,
you've got to have an explanation
I'm
for
not
that.
putting holes in the wall. Like, I'll throw a paper plate or something.
When I get mad, I make a paper plane real fast. Just chuck it outside. Pinecone Wars. I'm upset.
That'd be great. What if we did that? Like, if we ever live really close to each other again, which we will. Like, we go ahead and just have Pinecone Wars to work out our aggressions. You and I probably won't be talking to each other by then, but we will do Pinecone Wars. And I'll go round up like Brian Nisley. Bring that tennis racket, Brian. And you're like, I got Josh Swigert. He'll eat the pine cones. I got Joe Jordan. He's fast. He'll hide in the big tire. Scott McCoy's probably going to tell his mom if he gets bloody.
I want to explain all the references and apologize to all the people that you're calling out by first and last name.
I got to look good in front of Rachel right now. Rachel Hamby, more like Rachel Allers.
It was Megan Hamby.
Megan Hamby.
Rachel Branson, Bramford.
Sure.
Yeah,
Like
one of those. We're talking about the daycare days, for those that care. You ever grow up in a daycare? Email us.
Yeah, God, isn't that something so weird about our lives that I feel like never gets brought up?
Daycare? We've talked about it a lot.
I know, but like we grew up in a daycare. That's weird.
It started as a joke. But
It's weirder than being a Jehovah's Witness.
No, it's not.
It's more uncommon.
That is a strong statement.
It's more uncommon.
It's more uncommon
than being a Jehovah's Witness.
Okay, let's think about. Let's break this down by numbers, PJ.
Growing up in a daycare.
Yeah.
As opposed to Jehovah's Witnesses.
Oh, growing up like it happening in your house.
Yeah. Like
I thought you were talking about being a daycare kid in general, going to daycare.
I'm talking about there's a daycare in your house.
Yeah, that's fucking weird.
Yeah, you never get away from it.
As if the Jehovah's Witness thing wasn't enough of a struggle, a hurdle, in growing up as a normal person.
We're associating with worldlies constantly.
I want to hear about this new house you're moving into.
Oh, okay.
You've got a man cave? Is that what it's called?
Jesus Christ.
Get into it.
Okay.
Don't get me started.
Yeah, we're moving into a new place, and it's got a basement. Big, huge basement.
Basement / future studio.
Well, like I say, I've been in this side of this place one time for maybe 5 minutes, so I don't know how much in my head I'm exaggerating it, but the basement's basically a palace. Big water heater right in the middle. It's fucking beautiful. But no, I mean it's spacious. You know, it's a whole apartment, and it's a living room bigger than the one we have now, with probably the same size kitchen and 2 bedrooms and bathroom and everything like that. But then down right below it is, like, just imagine that whole place without any walls. It's a basement. But, there are some walls. There's different sections of it. There's a big water heater in the middle. But, yeah, man, like, fucking finally we can quit having to unplug and plug in the fucking mixer every time we record.
Yeah.
It'll be permanently set up. Alvina asked me 100% as a joke, I want to say, if it was my man cave. She knows it's very much like the word epic for me, that I just get upset by man cave. Maybe that's why I'm not a big fan.
Even you saying epic is an epic fail.
By the way, I didn't bring it. I'm such an idiot. But there's an advertisement, a full-page ad in Entertainment Weekly, and in the ad, it's for a new phone, and it's the Epic. It's the Sony Epic 1450 or something like that, and the tagline has 4 epics in it. It says epic 4 times. So like when people think I'm being irrational by hating the word epic, this is why. Like, it's getting ridiculous. But anyway, what was I talking about? I'm sorry. Oh, the new house. Yeah. Man. Yes, it was going to be my man cave. I don't appreciate it when people ask me that.
No, it's.
But everybody asks it. When I tell them about the basement, that's it. Is it your man cave?
And it is, but who calls it that? Alvina's not going to be allowed downstairs, right?
Yeah, but she said
if I ever see Sophie down there, I'm not coming over anymore.
Yeah, she can't, and that's something to worry about because we got to get a good lock on that door or something because it's like a really steep staircase.
Oh God, I got to worry about myself.
But,
put up a baby gate for me.
But you come stay now, and you can sleep down there. You don't have to be woken up when Sophie wakes up at 5 a.m.
I love it.
Like
I love everything about this.
Sleep down.
Smoking
We're gonna have
pot will be beautiful.
Not only is there gonna be TV down there, we're putting the good TV down there.
I can't.
Like the nice TV that we have, and we're keeping the shitty one upstairs.
I'm so stoked.
Yeah,
I really am.
Finally, we're gonna have a living room that like doesn't have to be super crowded. Everything stupid in the living room is mine, like the huge DVD collection,
the Jaws poster,
the bookshelves, everything like that. Like we're just gonna get new furniture, and it's a bigger living room, and there'll be that, and there's a little dining room section. Everything awesome is gonna be downstairs.
I can't wait to help you move in.
Yeah, it's gonna be great, and decide where to put everything. was thinking about making like a reading nook, but then that's when I think, okay, I've only seen this apartment for 5 minutes one time. Might not be as big as I remember it.
If it's not as big as you remember, just make the bathroom your reading nook. That's what I do.
That's true.
Yeah.
Once again, just because of the layout of this house, right now, Sophie and I share a closet in the apartment we live in now. Alvina's got a walk-in closet, and let's see, 4 out of 6, so 2/3 of our dresser drawers. And then I've got 2 dresser drawers, and me and Sophie share a closet. Me and Sophie have to share a closet again.
Which means you're going to have glitter on every pair of jeans that you pull out.
So now Sophie and I have to share a closet again, but now Sophie and I are sharing a walk-in closet.
I never meant to hurt you, but I think you should clean out that closet. Couldn't even finish it.
I'm
sorry, Mama.
As long as we're just trying to bulldoze through it and make awkward segues. I was thinking earlier today, because you were talking about how Sophie stories, and I understand that you like.
Well, how did we
Sophie
get to that?
stories.
How did we get to that? Let's talk about that first.
Well, I was talking about something cute that Sophie does.
Specifically, no, it wasn't cute. In fact, it was nauseating.
Well, you didn't get to see her do it.
Oh wait, we're talking about different things. I'm sorry.
Oh, what are you talking about?
The Miley Cyrus song, the new one though. Is that not what you're talking about?
Yeah.
Okay.
You never saw her sing along to it, though.
No, in her monotone. I sound like a man, even though I'm a 3-year-old girl voice.
Right.
That is what you're talking about?
Yeah.
Okay. Go on then.
I don't know. Maybe not. Are you talking about? Oh, she had her favorite song. She always wanted to play her favorite song.
They're playing my song, but it's not that one. You said she has a new favorite, but it's still a Miley Cyrus song.
Yeah.
And then you decided that it was important enough, even though Sophie was not in the car, you were just telling an off-the-cuff Sophie story.
But the thing...
you got to hear this song. You got to hear this song and then listen to my impersonation of my daughter.
Well, yeah, because she sings along to this
How
song
much do you
now.
think I'm enjoying that?
I don't know. But that's what I said. You were like, oh yeah, Sophie's stories are good on the podcast, and I was like, really? Because you couldn't have been more bored by what I just said. But granted, I'm playing the song, and I'm like, oh, this is how Sophie sings along to it, and then I just start singing along to it.
Yeah. But the point I was trying to make at the time was, when you tell Sophie stories on the show, I don't mind it. First of all, I didn't think I could love a kid as much as I love your kid. Speaking of crying as an adult, I'm about to do it. She makes me happy, especially when skies are gray. So you're playing my song, it's Miley Cyrus song, and then I think the reason that Sophie's stories on the show work is because usually they've all involve an asshole adult, which is the type of stories we tell anyway. This person really pissed me off.
Yeah.
But Sophie's inadvertently involved somehow.
Yeah.
Like the farmer's market. I wish I could pull the episode number, but that was a really good story. So I think you tell Sophie stories in a very R-rated way, and that's why I think they're fine.
If they happen R-rated. But yeah, so you're
Miley
saying,
Cyrus is definitely PG-13
right
now.
Me putting on a Miley Cyrus song and just going, hey, listen, imagine Sophie singing along.
It doesn't hold my interest now.
But it's awesome that she, and then you just start singing that song to her, and she'll just start singing. And she does it in that monotone way.
She's not going to be a singer? She's not a contender?
She doesn't have a good voice. That's for sure. I hope she's artistic. Before Sophie was born, I hoped she would be a lot of things.
Well, let's go down the list. She's smart.
Oh, yeah.
She's beautiful.
Bilingual.
Mm-hmm.
Potty trained in a day. No exaggeration. 1 day, 1 accident. She was potty trained.
As a newborn? First day?
Second birthday.
Second birthday?
Yeah.
She decided to pee in the toilet on her birthday.
Well, I mean, yeah,
approximately.
she potty trained in 1 day. It was just we explained to her what was going on, and she did it.
That's great.
And we didn't
Did
even
you bribe her?
We didn't
You
really
have a jar
have
of jelly
to.
beans that you're shaking from outside the
She
bathroom
had
door?
an accident the next day, and that's it.
That's amazing.
Well, I mean, there's once every 6 months or something like that.
You don't have to
but
sell her out. She might be a listener.
She's super potty trained. What was I talking about?
So,
Yeah, she's a smart kid. Yeah. So, we named her Sophia Claire after Claire from 6 Feet Under.
Which you shouldn't say out loud, especially to the internet.
Yeah.
I like Claire as a character, but I was Nicholas from 8 is Enough. Like, don't make her have to explain why she's named Claire.
And Sophie is super into princess and ballerina and shit like that. And what do I care? What did I want, a tomboy? Why? I'm not gonna play catch with anybody.
You don't strike me as the type that's like, as Elvina was pregnant before you guys knew the gender. Oh, I hope for a boy so we can talk about Reservoir Dogs.
Not at all. I would feel bad for having a boy. And she's, I mean, you know her. She's a princess. That's all she cares about, and a ballerina. And she'll come out and she'll get down on one knee and say, "May I have this dance?" And I dance with her, and she'll go, "You're a wonderful prince." I mean, it's fucking, it's insane.
The gag reflex is coming back a little bit.
But on my cable, on my satellite dish, randomly an episode of 6 Feet Under, an edited episode of 6 Feet Under on Bravo or something like that.
Ooh, that sounds terrible.
Was on, and I turned it on there, and it's like a season 2 episode, and it's the scene of Claire driving around in the hearse, and I just told Sophie, I was like, "Hey, Sophie, look at this girl on here." I was like, your name's Sophia Claire, and that girl's name is Claire. We named her after we named you after her. And then she was like, "Will you turn it up?" And I turned it up, and she was just watching it. She was enamored of it, and she was like, "Claire, just like me." Like, it was awesome.
Okay.
She cares. She gets it.
I've told you this, but I haven't told the show this, so I'm really excited to go back to it. Tying into what you just said, my friend Sam, on our most recent episode, or close to, who knows, I've been dying to tell the story of the show. It was you and your wife and Sophia came to Seattle recently, and
Wait, when was this?
I don't know,
Bumbershoot.
like a Bumbershoot, yes. And for whatever reason, you were giving me and Sam a ride back downtown. So it was you and Elvina up front. You were driving. Sophia with her car seat is in the back, and then me and Sam. And the whole way back, the whole drive to where you were dropping us off, Sophie is wanting to tell us knock-knock jokes. Yeah. And here's how they go. Knock-knock. Who's there? Sophia. Sophia who? Sophia Princess. Knock-knock. Who's there? Sophia. All about her again. Sophia who? Sophia Beautiful. Knock-knock. Who's there? Nick. Nick who? Nick Poopy Pants. And then she laughs for 3 minutes. But Sam had commented after you guys left, after that whole excursion. He says, I said, "What about Sophie and her knock-knock jokes?" He goes, "Little self-involved, that one." Which I think is the funniest thing. Because it's true. She's a little into herself.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I said,
At 3, you have to accept it. Like, she doesn't know any better.
It's not where I thought it would go. I would hope that by now she would be super depressed and into Scorsese and shit like that. But no, I mean, it's all about being a beautiful princess. And
as far back as I can remember, I always wanted to be a princess.
But yeah, no, she's awesome. And I tried to push things on her. When we were in San Francisco, we were at Amoeba Records, and
did you get your yellow bag?
Yeah,
awesome.
I didn't throw it away. We had bought so many DVDs, and the clerk was like, "Oh yeah, you can get one more free if it's like under $5." So I just went, and the first thing I saw was the Little like an old Our Gang thing of the Little Rascals, and I used to watch those a lot when I was maybe 20, 21.
Really?
I got really into them. Like I happened to have a channel that was showing them all the time.
I hate that I always ask this, but ironically, like, what are you watching Our Gang as a 20 or 21-year-old for?
I just enjoyed it. It was funny and cute.
I'm glad that it wasn't ironically.
Yeah,
I'm sorry that I asked.
No. I was really into it. So I bought it, and then I was like, and I just randomly just had this idea. I'm gonna put on Our Gang for Sophie, and she's gonna love it, and she's gonna get it, and blah blah blah. And it was all like
she's gonna walk into the room after having seen it with a cowlick.
And yeah, she fucking hated it. Like 2 minutes in, she's like just demanding whatever else we bought, like The Incredibles. And
Incredibles is good.
Yeah, watching that. I mean, she's just a perfectly normal, Little girl.
She's well adjusted
Except she's very beautiful. She's
and bilingual. We should remind everybody about her attributes.
super
again.
bilingual. And, you know.
It has to happen, though. Like,
Yeah.
with
And,
Alvina as fluent as she is.
yeah. And when I'm there, I work nights. So Alvina and I really are with Sophie very separately. Like, I'm with her all day. And then Alvina comes home, I go to work. And then she's with her for the whole night. So,
So as far as Sophie knows, you guys are divorced.
Yeah, exactly. But I know Sophie's bilingual. But the other day I was giving her a bath, and I'm taking Spanish 101 in community college right now.
Uh-huh.
And so like I was just asking her a few basic phrases while basically studying for a test. And I was asking her, like, in Spanish. I'm not going to try it now, but something about. Do you want to get out of the bathtub? Are you ready to get out, or something like that? And she said no. And I go, ¿Por qué? And she was like, I don't even know what she said, but she just said this big long thing in Spanish. And
Your 3-year-old daughter is making you feel dumb.
yeah, she like just said something, and I called Alvina over, and I was like, what does this mean? And I terribly translated it, and she was like, I don't know what that means. And then I was like,
This is where you bring Babelfish into it.
So I asked Sophie the same thing again. She says it again, and she was like, "Oh, she doesn't want to get out of the bathtub right now because she's not cold yet, and she still wants to play." And I was like, "Fucking, are you kidding me?" She said all that. Like, she can say all that in English, and I know that, but a lot of times, I think I thought she was dumber than she is because I always assumed she was saying nonsense, but apparently she knows way more Spanish than I gave her credit for.
Or maybe Alvina's just reading her eyes or making things up.
Yeah, maybe.
It could all be a big...
But it was something about porque estoy
I know what that
or
means.
something like that.
Porque's a butter, right?
No, it was like porque no mi estoy juga. It was like because I want to play. But yeah, it was awesome.
What does mi padre es feo mean?
My dad is ugly.
Just checking.
I know all that. It's the first thing they teach you.
Control.